So my dad's a teacher. And, oh, that's a mess. And he's a tech teacher. So he gets it's like basically like a shop class, and teaches kids about how to not cut their hands off and stuff like that. These are junior hires, mind you. Okay, so the school was like, hey, buy some 3D printers because that's important, I guess. And he's like, cool, I'll buy some 3D printers. So he buys some 3D printers. And he's like, I don't know how to use them. And I'm like, I do. So I figured out how to use them. And I get to have some fun with them while I figure that out. And that's cool. And like, they're pretty good printers, like the only thing that could go wrong is like, you just don't know what you're doing. Something like that. And you do something stupid. You light it on fire. I don't know. Just something ridiculous like that. And so, and then like, I stopped by the classroom and I'm like, how are the 3D printers going? And he's just like, well, we don't really use them. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't use them? What do you mean you don't use them? And he's just like, well, they kind of broke. And I'm like, what do you mean they kind of broke? Something either breaks or doesn't break. It doesn't kind of break. Well, I mean, I guess if you have a car and a wheel falls off, it's kind of broken, but it's not like all the way broken. Anyway, so, and I'm just like, okay, what happened? He's just like, well, I mean, one of the extruders got clogged, and I'm like, okay, that's not that bad. Like, he's just like, well, no, I mean, it's kind of bad. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, what happened? And there is a glob literally like this big of plastic, like, on the extruder, and it is just a mess. And oh my gosh. So it's like you turn it on, I pushed like preheat, and it would just like, it didn't do anything. It didn't even get warm. The glob of plastic was so big, I couldn't move it. I couldn't do anything with it. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is absolute nightmare fuel. And it had melted around the belt, the belt that like moves the thing. Anyway, it was bad. And then I was like, oh, well, I mean, you still have one. Like, do you guys use the other one? He's just like, well, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why? Why? What happened now? And then it's like, well, I mean, the platform just won't raise anymore, and it's just not working. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And the screw that is the thing that actually makes sure the platform raises, because there's a screw that rotates and then it raises the platform because the screw has threads on it, and then if you know about 3D printers, you know what I'm talking about. And that was completely stripped, so you could just take the platform and go up and down and up and down. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, how does that happen? I'm assuming some child pushed the up button and just held the up button, and it just kept like rotating, and then it like stripped it like a record on like a needle on a record that just keeps going. So yeah, that happened, and I'm just like, okay, I mean, and the school system is such that it's just like, we don't need to fix the 3D printers for $200. We can just buy a new one for $1,000 because it's smart. And and my dad's like, no, let's not do that. I'll fix them. And I'm just like, did you fix them? And he's just like, no, because I don't know how. And I'm just like, okay, I know how. It's making me mad that nobody's using them, so I'll fix them. So brought them home, and I was, I started fixing them. And I got the glob of plastic off the extruder. I got that off. I don't know how, but miracles happen. Jesus is real. Miracles happen. So that one is fine. It smokes now because there is still like globs of plastic stuck like in the inner parts, and it's probably not good, but it works. So what are you gonna do? I mean, get another 3D printer for $1,000? Like, I'm not gonna do that for now, because we're gonna have another one anyway. But the second one, it was just like, okay, I thought that was gonna be the easiest fix, because it's just like, it's just the platform won't raise. It's not that big of a deal. And so, boy, was I wrong. I took it all. I managed somehow to take it all apart. I had, oh, it was awful. I did not know you could take the bottom off of the 3D printer, and then like, it was just a mess. It was just trust me. I can't explain it well. Just trust me. It was a nightmare. And so I found the screw that was like the bolt that was the problem. Completely stripped, obviously, like I've said 5 times before. And so I emailed the company. I'm like, hey, I need a replacement for this part, you know. Or I called them. I actually called them. I called the person, which is, I hate calling people. And they're like, oh, well, I mean, do you mean you need like filament? And I'm like, no, I don't need filament. They're like, do you need like a cover? I'm like, no, I don't need a printer cover. It's a bolt, and it's got threads on the inside. It's got 4 little holes on top, and it raises the platform. I need that. They're like, do you need like a new platform? I'm like, no, I don't need it. I just need the screw. And they're just like, okay, well, I'll send you an email, and you can email me pictures of the part, and then I'll, you know, and then I can better see what the problem is, you know. And I'm like, great. Here's my email. Send me an email. We confirmed my email like 3 times because it's a ridiculous email. They never emailed me, and I'm just like, that's great. So then I emailed them. I was just like, I'm gonna email them. I'm not calling another person just for this to happen again. I'm not wasting my call energy on this. And they were like, oh, okay. I sent them pictures of the part and everything, and I'm just like, no one ever emailed me back. Kind of irritated. And they're just like, oh, so sorry about that. We don't actually give people that part because we, you know, it's just not something that we provide, and you can't buy it, and you can just usually, you know, basically the insinuation is like, you can't buy that part, you just have to buy a new printer. And it's just like, I'm not gonna do that because that's stupid, you know. But I didn't say that. And they're just like, but, you know, we'll send you it for free as like a one-time courtesy. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. You know, because I just hate it when it's just like one little thing is wrong and you just have to throw the whole thing away. I mean, I was gonna see if I could have, you know, the part just like custom machined, you know, but I don't like talking to people, and I didn't really want to do that. So, you know, but they sent me the part, and I'm just like, this is a glorious day. And they even wrote my name on it. It was like handwritten, like such and such. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. They actually took a pen and they wrote it. They didn't just throw it in a bag and print out my address. Oh my god. Yeah, that was very nice. I like their customer service. Very good. But like, I don't want to mention the company because you ever hear those stories of like, oh, I mentioned this guy who did this really good thing for me, and it took a long time, and they were really nice, and then the guy gets like fired because apparently he was wasting time doing a nice thing. And then it's just like, yeah, people aren't supposed to, like, employees aren't supposed to do that, so they'll get fired. And it's just like, well, I don't want to do that, that's an employee. But, you know, if I ever do mention that, it's not like I'm naming names though. So yeah, that's what happened. Don't ever, just don't strip the screw in a 3D printer for the platform. Just don't do it. Just don't be stupid. Oh, and you know what happened? You know why there was a big glob of plastic on that one machine? It was because some buffoon, some child, was like, I will use Scotch tape on the platform. That'll make sure that the print sticks. Oh my gosh. And then my dad was like, I was like, okay, there was Scotch tape on that platform with the clog. You know, you're supposed to use masking tape, right? He's just like, oh yeah, like, well, and I'm just like, you can't use Scotch tape. And he's just like, oh, that's bad? And I'm just like, yes, that's very bad. You can't use Scotch tape on a 3D printer platform. Oh, man. So, yeah. And you're supposed to put masking tape and then glue on it, just to be safe. And even then, it's like, there are some things that, like, I don't even know how to do. And it's like, how does that even, so I just don't do it, you know? But, my dad was like, you know, maybe I should like be more careful with who I choose gets to use the machines. And I'm just like, yeah, I think that would be a good idea.